Today, I want to talk to you about how I like to intuitively read the I Ching. If this is your first time here, hello. My name is Cassandra Deanne, and I am a certified human design reader and a Gene Keys guide. I just want to share this because this is a big reason of why I have a big love for the I Ching, and I'm excited today to share with you a little bit more on how I read the I Ching. If you don't know what the I Ching is, I suggest you would stop this video and check out this one instead. This was my first video on the I Ching, and it gives a wonderful description of what it is and how to cast the I Ching using coins. So this video is sort of a follow-up on what that video was. So if you haven't checked that one out, be sure to give that one a look before you move into this video. So the next thing I just want to throw out there and mention is I am in no means an expert on the I Ching, but I do have a lot of passion for it. In the video that I shared prior to this one, I talked about how if you're just getting started, a great way to read the I Ching is having the Book of Changes, which is the I Ching, and list all of the hexagrams and the lines. So in this video, I'm going to kind of show you, however, how I like to read the I Ching. It's my own belief that the idea of all of these modalities and tools of divination are essentially to connect you to your highest self or source and offer guidance through whatever tool it is that you decide you're drawn to. So for me, the I Ching has been something I've been drawn to, and I love casting the I Ching, but I personally found myself being frustrated of finding the book and trying to look up the hexagram and find what matches, before I read it. So in my studies over time, I've just really started to understand the pieces and the parts of it, and I have a unique system of how I like to read the I Ching that I would like to share with you today. So as mentioned, I am a human design reader, and why I bring this up is because a big part of human design is the I Ching, and the 64 hexagrams are directly connected to the 64 gates in human design. So when I first discovered human design, the first thing I was drawn to was wanting to understand the gates and also the expressions of what they consider the lines. And so right off the bat, I was drawn to the I Ching, and I spent a lot of time in study and ultimately have memorized the various 64 gates in human design and how they correlate with the I Ching. That being said, one thing that I have discovered is in my last video, I talk a lot about the actual hexagram of the I Ching and how this is made up of 6 lines starting at the bottom and moving towards the top. And then these 6 lines are broken into 2 sections, which are considered a lower triagram of 3 lines and an upper triagram of 3 lines. And these are labeled as, or identify or connected to, the 8 elements in the Bagua. Now, that is the key part of how I like to read the I Ching, is I read the I Ching actually without looking up specifically the hexagram, but rather reading it intuitively through the understanding the placement of each triagram of the Bagua and reading the hexagram through the expressions of these 8 elements. As a refresher, the 8 elements of the Bagua are going to be heaven, earth, fire, water, lake, wind, mountain, and thunder. And each one of these elements is affiliated with a particular hexagram, which is the fullest expression of that element. So for example, in the hexagram 1, we have all yang lines. So this would be the expression of heaven, which is connected to hexagram 1, over heaven, which is hexagram 1. So here in hexagram 1, it's the fullest expression of yang lines, where in hexagram 2, this is the fullest expression of yin lines. So it's all the broken lines or dashed lines. So this is earth over earth. And so these are both connected to the 2, which is the receptive. And here you have the full expression of duality of yin and yang. I read the I Ching strictly from looking at these 8 hexagrams. I'm going to pop a picture up and share these. So here you can see that heaven is 1, earth is 2, fire is 30, water is 29, lake is 58, wind is 57, mountain is 52, and thunder is 51. So by considering these 8 hexagrams alone, you can read the overall message of the hexagram, whatever it is that you throw, by understanding that. And I know this sounds like a lot, but I'm going to demonstrate it. But before I do, one more thing I want to mention to you that I take into consideration, and that is the lines. And these changing lines add to the expression of the hexagram. So I'm just kind of going to briefly go through the 6 lines and what they generally mean. We start from the bottom and go upwards. So starting with line 1. So line 1, this can be looked at, the beginning of the journey, and it's also got the quality of the investigator. This is the portion of the journey where you're learning, gaining research, and looking and seeking out knowledge. In the expression of an individual, this is someone that loves this process. They love the process of investigating and researching and learning in books and discovery. So that's the expression of the 1. The expression of the 2 is the hermit or the natural. And when we're looking at it in the sense of the I Ching, you can also say this is the point in our journey where we start to see progress forward. But it also has the energy, as I mentioned, as the hermit. So this is someone that has a natural gift or quality about them. Someone that, if the first line wants to research it, the second line just somehow has it naturally within them. So it's natural gifts and talents. And the hermit line is, as it says, that the best expression of this line is when individuals are able to sort of pulled back or step into their own zone of creation and expression. And when they're just left to be doing their thing, that this is something that outsiders see and pick up on and recognize, oh my goodness, they're so talented. And this also has sort of a projection to it, to where the second line can have qualities where people call you out to do things. And so it does have that element of society calling out the hermit out of their shell, wanting to engage with them and wanting to take advantage of those gifts and talents that they notice and admire in the second line. Moving on is the third line. So in the I Ching, this can be looked at in the sense of a word of caution or a moment in your journey in which you want to reflect, make sure you're balanced properly. And it's a call back towards balance. And in This line also is called the martyr, and it has sort of a trial and error process about it in life. And in human design, part of the gift of the third line is to be able to kind of embrace life and go through the experiences, because going through these, whether it comes out how you would like it or not, there's great wisdom that is gained in these experiences that you can share and help the collective with by learning through that trial and error process and willingness to sort of grab life and experience it. So that's the third line. Moving up, we go to the fourth line. So when we reach the fourth line, going into more of a reflection of transpersonal topics or looking outside of the individual. So for the fourth line, this is the opportunist, and this is someone who likes to be engaged with others. Now, with all of these expressions, there are shadow sides. So while the fourth line does have that quality, it also struggles a little bit with withdrawal and fear of rejection, essentially. But ultimately, the fourth line is here to engage with others, and the opportunities that they receive in life often come through the connections of those close to them, friends, family or whatnot. So with that, also, you want to kind of keep in mind the importance of, the opportunities you receive being a reflection of the company you keep, which is also a reflection of your own energetic vibration and law of attraction. Moving on to the 5. So when we reach the 5, this is the heretic. And the fifth line has this quality that is here to help the collective in one way or another. It has sort of a manager type vibe about it, or giving direction. This is also a quality that is all about an aura that has the essence of when people are around you, they sense that you can fix their problems or save their day. That's the fifth line. We're going to move on from there to the sixth line. There is a lot involved in the sixth line, but I'm going to save that for other videos. But generally speaking, we're going to look at the sixth line as the role model. This does have a little bit of a quality that early in life, they operate under a third line. So they have that trial and error process where they gain wisdom and then embody and step into that role model quality. So in the I Ching, we can look at it as in sort of the, when in alignment, the highest expression of potential. So that is the lines. Now, let me play this out for you. And I think that by talking it through and letting you see it in action, that will really help share with you, what does all this add up to? How does this all work out? What is this you're saying, Cassandra? I can read all 64 hexagrams just by understanding 8 hexagrams in 6 lines, and that's exactly what I'm saying. So let me show you how. When we're doing the I Ching, we're always going to start from the bottom upwards. So whenever I do these readings, I sort of just take a moment and connect to a source and meditate and just ask for, whatever guidance it is that I'm meant to receive. And then I throw the I Ching. So I'm going to go ahead and toss. So here we have yang, yin, and yin. So this is lesser yang. So this would be a solid yang line. And here we have 3 yen. So this is full yen. So this would be a changing line. Okay, yeah, sorry, it's a little wonky. I generally set up the intentions with my spirit guides that for me, I usually feel like I will go to the next hexagram if I have more than 3 changing lines. This is going to be one triagram, and this is the second triagram. This is all expressions of yang, which is heaven, which is represented by the hexagram of 1. And then here you can see that we have 2 yang lines and 1 yin line. So this is lake, which is hexagram 58. When I read my hexagram, this is how I like to do it. I take into consideration these, and each of these expressions have their own fuller expression, but you can, sometimes I'll make a note. For example, I know that this part of this expression is creativity, and part of this expression is joy. And then we're going to consider also the 6th line here in this expression, which, as mentioned, this is role model. So then what I usually do is look at and see what intuitively comes to me in the hexagram and what the expression is. And with each hexagram that you have, there's always going to be the shadow and gift potential. And when I read these, as I mentioned, I am tapping into intuitive guidance based on the tools that I have. For me, this is the I Ching Human Design and Gene Keys. I would start to first say that there's a lot of yang energy. So this is a lot of potent energy here. A desire to, this could be express, this could be creativity. It also can be looked at as strength. So when we look at the 2 different triagrams, this you can see as a person or an energy that at its core is very yang and creative and passionate and expressive. And on the top triagram, you can see here that the expression is lake and this is joy. So at the base expression or the baseline, we can see here an energy that is very yang and has some creative expression and strength to it, or passion you could even add perhaps. And then on the top triagram, I look at this generally as, you can say, either an external pressure coming from outside or outward circumstances, or what is wanting to be birthed or come forward from the root or base of where you're at. So here we have creativity, here we have joy. Now the 58 also is the expression of vitality and wanting to be of service. It's not of being of service in the sense of obligation, but rather in the sense of wanting to just milk life for what it is. And it also has a drive towards perfection and wanting things to be perfect. So it's wanting to sort of help mold this journey and experience this journey with vitality and perfection. And it has that joyful or more playful connection to it in its highest expression. So here, when I look at this, I would say that at your core, you're someone that has a lot of expression. You have a lot of things that you want to see come into fruition and be birthed, and you want to live life expressively and openly and bring newness and change into the world. And that can be reflected here by the outward expression of the 58. Now, the shadow ends of these, with conditioning, we cannot embrace our unique creative expression. And this can turn into more of feeling like you have to meet expectations of others. It can have a little bit of a melancholy, and thinking of it in the sense of sometimes in life when we are the most restricted or challenged, these are the times in which we find creative impulses outward. The shadow of this gift in the 58 is striving towards perfection, and it can have a quality of being judgmental, almost in the sense towards others, and wanting to adjust people to your standards. But you can see that would have nothing to do with a connection to joy. So in consideration of this hexagram, I would say I'd read this as, at the core, you're an individual with amazing go power and creativity and inspiration or unique expression. And in alignment, in its fullest expression, it says to me that you are someone that is able to help the collective bring your own unique expression or insights into the collective, in offering of guidance or being of service in some way through your own unique expression of who you are. The importance of embracing your own unique expression. When I think of how much yang is in this hexagram, it makes me think of someone that is meant to contribute, is meant to share, is meant to bring forth, birth something new. And considering the sixth line, that role model. So this hexagram says to me that I would encourage you to embrace your unique expression of self. When we look at the third line, this is kind of our caution, with this yang expression, we want to make sure that this is in alignment by either not getting too caught up in the ego. We don't want to mow people over. We want to kind of have that balance at the heart, that this is someone that is meant to birth something new, bring forth something, bring forth change, ideas, into the collective. I feel pretty good about that. Okay, so that's sort of my connection to this. So that would be my guidance and what I'm receiving from this hexagram, simply by considering the lower triagram of heaven and the upper triagram of lake. So let's check it out and see what hexagram it is and see how close I was. So here we have 43. Okay, so 43 in the I Ching is called breakthrough, and in human design, it's called insights. And so this is a quality of someone that is capable of bringing, some new ideas and gaining new insights that they're here to share. And it kind of has this energy of like being in tuned to your authentic expression of self. These insights are shared in the human design chart. It's like this center line, and it's from the Ajna, and it's very esoterically connected to just having a sense of things that are hard to explain and being meant to bring forth change and new ideas that are sort sort of can be ahead of their time. So, okay, so that is how I like to read the I Ching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you are interested in getting your own I Ching reading or human design reading, check out in the description below. I've got some links there for you on how you can do that. If this is your first time here, thank you so much for joining me. I like to release content weekly designed to increase your vibration, bring awareness to mindset, and simplify spirituality. So if you like this video, I would love it if you would give it a like, maybe share it with a friend, leave a comment below. I'd love to hear about your journey. So thank you so much for watching. Bye.